trained to be merciful here. A man face you, he is enemy. Enemy deserve no mercy.
Well, no mercy. I'll tell you something. I won't be showing you any fucking mercy after this review.
For crimes against society, they sent him to the most treacherous place in the universe. Coming March 1st to CBS, Hard Time on Planet Earth.
Hello and welcome back. So I had the awful intro before this. So anyway, I'm going to do it again. Welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. And this week we're going to get into I don't know. I survived 13 episodes of this. I really don't. 13 bloody episodes. Right. In 1989, there was a science fiction series called Hard Time on Planet Earth. And it got cancelled after 13 episodes. And you're not going to believe this, but it starred Martin Cove. Yes, John Kreese from Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid, the Dark Lord himself. He was in Cagney and Lacey, but we won't talk about that. He's had an interesting career as Martin Cove. And I'm quite a fan of the guy. I think he's great. But we all have to live with that thing we did in our lives. And, you know, can I forgive him for this? Right, synopsis. The main character was an alien elite military officer who served in a huge interplanetary war. After the war ended, he was prosecuted for a rebellion against the planet's ruling council. Now, this sounds good, doesn't it? He was found guilty, but in recognition of him being a hero, he was given the chance to reform by spending an undetermined amount of time in a vastly underpowered human form on planet Earth. Now, that's where it starts getting just, right. Along with him was dispatched the most annoying robot called Control. And it looks like a floating piece of shit hovering around everywhere with a big eyeball. I'm not making this up. Right. And he's like the comedy factor, small robot in the form of mechanical eye with the mission of overseeing Jesse, the earthly name adopted by the alien warrior from the name tag on his clothes. Of course, he landed in desert, like naked. Do you know what I mean? So to make sure Jesse kept his violent behavior in check, Controls also provided comic relief to the series by usually assessing the events of with the catchphrase, negative outcome, not good. And each episode followed him every week where he just went out and about and helped people. And you're not going to believe what happens. We will go into why is there any potential in this, and it's not looking good. So, right, reception, right? Most critics, right, get this. Most critics detested the series, according to People's magazines. About 20 RPM, that's how fast I reckon Walt Disney must be spinning in his grave with shows like this on the air. It is just one long bad commercial. But it did, however, garner a small but loyal fan base to its time on air. The show is sometimes cited in the list of one-hit wonders. Well, that's what we talk about here. It could have been a classic. So, where do we start? So I don't know. Right. I sat through 13 episodes of this. I did. I really did. And now he turns up in desert naked and gets in. I don't know. He gets involved in some events, and this woman fancies him in the desert, and he stops some baddies, and he moves on to following week. He's got no money, and he needs to eat, and he realizes I need money. So the annoying floating piece of shit robot with the big eyeball there, it is there at the back of me. Can you see it? Bloody annoying. Goes to an ATM, draws him 50 grand out, and he gets seen, gets reported to police, and he gets ripped off as well. And he walks into the police station with money and gives it to him. Then he finds the con man and gets the money back and goes back to the police station. He gets arrested, but he escapes and goes off. So because he's being monitored by the robot. They're both of them are dense as anything. I mean, he's quite naive now, and the following week he stops a bank robbery. He stops the mob. He gets involved in personal problems. All like ladies fall in love with him, and that's it. Basically, it's him learning about humility and how to be a good person, right? So this is a guy, right, or an alien, who was the greatest warrior of his race, who was involved in a vast interstellar war, who led a rebellion against his government. It never really goes into why. You see the trial, but you don't really explain much. Like he tried overthrowing his, like, the leaders. But he was such a war hero, they couldn't execute him. So they decided, let's send him to Earth and learn him the ways of humanity. I mean, what a fucking mess this is. I mean, they send him to Earth here to learn the ways of mankind, the goodness in us, right? And he, my God, he gets converted into one of us, right? Right, this is the guy that's been involved in the slaughter of millions of alien life forms on planet to planet. But anyway, right, so you're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe this, right? The episodes, right? I'm going to pick out one or two episodes, right? I mean, there's one episode. I mean, he joins the army, right? He becomes a sergeant in the military because he meets this sergeant. And this sergeant says, "Look, I've got some problems. I've got to disappear for a while. So, could you mind, like, taking over for me and train my squad?" And he does. And this squad, they're a bit useless. And one at squad, he's got these mates outside that want to rob the army base for the weapons. And Jesse gets involved, and he trains them up to be this elite division, right? And he stops this gang from robbing the army base, and he turns them into this amazing squad, and they get redeemed. Another sergeant turns up, and he leaves the army. That's it. Now he has superpowers, right? He has super strength, and he's sort of invulnerable, and he's he's technologically way ahead of us. But every week he's a bit naive, you know, and he ends up in these situations, and sometimes a lady will fall in love with him and all this. And robots there making it worse, even though it's sending reports back to the planet to say he's done this good thing this week. So anyway, he redeems himself every week by doing the right thing. And him and Robot are walking off down road together. And it finishes. But this is where it gets absolutely ridiculous. There's an episode called Battle of the Sexes. Yeah. He gets a job in a restaurant. Obviously, the mafia is wanting the cut every week. He gets involved in that. He stops it. The lady in the restaurant fancies him, but he goes nightclubbing, one at staff. He's going to a disco every night, and he's meeting ladies. And, he just hasn't got a clue. But meanwhile, from his own planet, there's a female one of his race turns up in human form that lands in a car wash in a car with no clothes on. And it's the delectable Sandal Bergman, and that's in Conan, and she was the baddie in Red Sonja. She's a stunner with Sandal Bergman. She really was, right? So this happens, right? And it all comes out where they all get involved. He goes back to the apartment. The both of them don't know what to do. They're having a drink. They ain't got a clue, right? And the mob turns up and he beats them all up. And she's there. And she's going to like do something to him. She pulls this device out and he's not stupid. He figures out what she is. And she suddenly transforms into this big 9-foot warrior alien in body armor. And they have a big punch up. But because he's stuck in human form, he's not as powerful. But he jumps on top of a building, gets a satellite dish. And she finds an energy weapon and like knocks herself out because he deflects it. And it's all about Jesse, and the robot overloads because it can't figure out human relationships and the battle of the sexes. I'm not even going down this path. I mean, I'm not making this up, right? This is how bad this is, right? And she's been well, she's not there to assassinate him. She wants to know where all his followers are. And he said, I'm not telling you, but tell everybody I'm alive and I'm living on Earth and I'm happy because I've learned a better way. I mean, I am not making this up, right? So we move on from that and we get to the final episode. I mean, I'm not going to go into all these episodes. I mean, they were just fucking awful, right? Wally's gang. After 24, I can't even read it, honestly. Well, basically, right, Jesse prevents them from kidnapping this kid, right, or his dad. And then at the end of the episode, when him and the floating dollop of Baba, right, with a big eye, go walking off because they've helped somebody else. At the end, it's implied that Jesse has filled his directive and now may return home. Because he had learned the best of humanity. I mean, really, you couldn't make this up. And Pete said, Martin Cove, how could you? I mean, they must have paid him a lot of money to do this. He must have paid him. Now, is there any potential in this? This is where the question comes in. Could this have been a classic? Now, I like the idea of the counselor and a warrior who gets sent to Earth to learn sort of like, well, how do you say, to temper yourself and become like a better alien by going to a primitive planet and learning how they see life. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, no, it's to better himself. You know, it's his journey. And I quite like that and this planet, but you don't really find out about what's going on in this interstellar war. There's quite a lot you could have gone with, and especially this assassin that turned up to knock him off. There is a situation where he does build this hyper chip, you know, because it's like a faster than light communication chip to contact his planet about some situation. But then again, the robot, the floating dollop of shit with a big eye, it's just awful CGI. I mean, it's CGI, I mean, it's terrible, right? And that I thought this is sending reports back. So why does it need a chip? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's me picking at points in it. Like, I think the background is sort of interesting. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so they send certain people to Earth and to learn. And like Earth is a prison planet for some of them. I mean, I think in one episode he does meet somebody that's been there a long time, but he don't want to go back. He likes living on Earth, you know. So I mean, there is. I mean, the start. I mean, the episodes are terrible. I mean, they are. But is there any potential? Now there is a bit of a following to this series. It does have an actual. It's small, but it's there. And I felt like I'd talk about Hard Time on Planet Earth. Now, the background story, I think there could be something in. You could monopolize that today about some alien being sent to Earth because he tried taking over government. But they can't knock him off because he's so popular. He's an hero amongst his own people. And he's not a bad person, but he's got to learn certain things and then he can go back. They're teaching him to like get rid of this aggression, you know, because the war's over. But I mean, this is the guy that's gone from planet to planet and slaughtered millions of people. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing. And I suppose in that there could be some potential of about this warrior character that's trapped in a human body, even though he's really powerful, that there is some sort of potential about him trying to get back home and what he's got to learn. But I mean, the storylines were just bad. I mean, the Battle of the Sexes episode was just, it was ridiculous. It really was, him trying to meet women and all this, and then there's the scene with the female assassin when she goes from a woman into this 9-foot alien. It is ridiculous. I mean, it's cheesy. But just in that bit of him, like the High Council and this society, there is something there. And I think today you could do something with it. I really do think you could do something with it. But the series itself. Now, Martin Cove, I've forgiven him. I really have. I've forgiven him. And, you know, we've all done things in our lives where, yeah, we've all done the shameful thing, you know what I mean? And he did this. So I assume he got offered a lot of money. And I like Martin Covey with him. Rambo, I mean, let's not talk about Cagney and Lacey. But Cobra Kai's John Kreese is marvellous. He's like a Dark Lord of the Sith. And could this series have been a classic? No. I'm sorry. Even though there is that minute bit of the first couple of letters, like the first sentence about like how he gets banished to Earth, there is some that's it. The rest of it is just, I can understand why this got cancelled after 13 episodes. It really is that bad. I mean, I sat and watched 13 episodes. Please forgive me, please. But no, you are not a classic, and this week you're down the drain. Yeah, I should get a toilet effect in them. You know, I might start doing that actually. If it's not a classic, I might start pulling a toilet chain and you let her flush in those, because this is going down the toilet of eternity, never to fucking return. And I mean it. I'm not even going to stare at this again. I've been dreading this review. So, guys, if you want to watch A Hard Time on Planet Earth, the whole lot of it is on YouTube. Seriously, all 13 episodes is there for you to watch, and it's awful. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. Definitely not this week. So, I will see you on the next review, and yeah, stay safe.